Okay, so today we're diving into, something pretty amazing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The opening chapter of the Quran, Surah
Okay.
Al-Fatihah.
All right.
And it's like, it's known as the essence of the Quran
Mm-hmm.
and, recited in daily prayers and everything. So
Right.
I'm pretty excited to get into this. We've got, some excerpts from the chapter itself.
Okay.
And yeah, ready to like unpack it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. It's a really it's short, but it's packed with a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to jump in.
So before we even get to the first verse of Al-Fatihah,
Uh-huh.
there's this like practice of seeking refuge in Allah.
Right.
And, it's almost like pausing to create a sacred space before you like go into the text, right?
Right.
What do you think the significance of this is?
Yeah, it's a really important part of approaching the Quran, because you're acknowledging that you're about to engage with something that's very that's divine, right? That's from God, and so you're seeking refuge in God before you even engage with it. So you're asking for protection from anything that might distract you from understanding the message or anything like that. So it's a very important part of the process.
So it's like acknowledging that we're like engaging with something much bigger than ourselves in a way.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's get to the first verse.
All right.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful.
Yeah.
So simple, yet it feels like there's like so much to unpack there.
Yeah, and this is really the key to the whole Quran, right? You're starting off by invoking the name of Allah,
Mm-hmm.
establishing that this is the source of all creation, the source of all guidance, and you're also mentioning two of Allah's most important attributes, which is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim,
Mm-hmm.
the most gracious, the most merciful.
Yeah.
And so this is really setting the tone for the Quran, that, this is a book that is about God's mercy and compassion.
So even like right from the beginning, we're
Yeah.
getting this theme of like
Absolutely.
Allah's mercy and compassion.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we move on to verse 2.
Okay.
Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds.
Right.
This is a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah, and again, it's expanding our perspective here,
Mhm.
because it's not just saying, praise be to Allah, Lord of, this particular group of people or this particular nation or this particular time period. It's saying Lord of the worlds, meaning everything that exists.
So like you, me, everyone listening, all part of this bigger picture.
Regardless of, what your background is,
Yeah.
what you believe, where you're from, all of that is encompassed in this. And so it's a really, a reminder of, this concept of unity and universality.
It's a good reminder that we are all just, a small part of something much larger.
Right. Okay.
So verses 3 and 4 kind of continue to like describe Allah's attributes,
Mm-hmm.
reiterate the mercy and grace.
Right.
But then we get Master of the Day of Judgment.
Yeah.
This adds another layer to this picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, while we're talking about Allah's love and compassion,
Mhm.
there's also the acknowledgement that, our actions have consequences.
Right.
And there's a day of judgment where we're going to be held accountable for those actions. So there's this, balance between divine love and the importance of living a righteous life.
Yeah, it's almost like this gentle reminder that, our choices matter
Right.
and there is ultimately a higher purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, so then we get to verses 5 through 7. And this is where it takes on a much more personal tone, I think.
Right.
It is, we worship and we ask for help.
Mhm.
Guide us to the straight path.
Yeah.
What do you think the significance is of this shift from like praise to a direct request?
Yeah, I mean, it's really beautiful because, we're acknowledging God's power, and then we're coming to him with, a sense of humility and asking for help,
Right.
Guidance, support in navigating the challenges of life.
Mm-hmm.
And that mention of the straight path is really, that's a really important concept in Islam.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get to that.
Yeah.
What does that symbolize? What is the straight path?
Yeah, so it's basically the path of righteousness.
Right.
It's a life that's lived in accordance with God's will, with God's guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the path that leads to ultimately fulfillment and inner peace.
Okay.
And it even contrasts it in the verse with those who have evoked His anger.
and those who are astray.
Makes you think about, like,
Yeah,
your own life in a way, right? Like, what choices are you making?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a question that we should be asking ourselves every day,
Right.
Am I on that straight path? Am I seeking God's guidance?
Right.
Am I, trying to live my life in a way that's pleasing to him?
Yeah.
And so, it's a very important question that Al-Fatihah is raising.
It's incredible how much, like, depth and guidance
Yeah.
is in these, like, 7 verses.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning.
Right.
This is just the opening chapter of the Quran.
Yeah.
And so, it's just an invitation to go deeper and to explore, the rest of the Quran, which
Yeah.
is just, filled with so much wisdom and guidance.
So as we wrap up this, deep dive into Al-Fatihah.
I'm kind of left wondering, like, how do you see these themes playing out in your own life? What does the straight path look like for you?
Yeah.
And, these are questions I encourage, like, all of you listening to kind of think about, too, as you go on your own journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's great. I think
that's
that's a really good place to end it.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.